Hey guys, how's it going? My name is John Park and welcome to another foundation group. For today's demonstration, we're going to be covering thumbnailing and also doing graphite environmental sketches. So let's get started. If you have a light source here, this is actually going to act as a vanishing point, and the light source is actually going to do something like this. So the difference is actually in your shadows. This will create a really big shadow. You see that? You're going to get something more along the lines of this. So when we do the final rendering, in your actual object, you'll probably end up with something like this. Okay? Now if you're doing a sunlit scenario, you're going to have the same thing, except your shadows are actually going to be a lot more shorter. And it's just going to line up here and it's going to end there. Okay? So that's the core difference between sun and room. Okay, now let's go with top lighting. Top lighting, same exact scenario. The light's going to come from the top here. And this time it's going to come straight down, right? And we're going to have the shadow of the sphere land here. Now, this is the only object that's going to have a cast shadow. These other objects are being perfectly lit, so it's not going to have a cast shadow. It's actually, the light's going to sit underneath the object, right? Same with this object here, the cylinder. It's going to have a slight shadow, but we can barely see it. It's just barely sitting underneath. So you're going to get something like that. Okay? Now with a cone, there is no real cast shadow, so it's going to, just like the cube, it's going to sit right on top of the object. Or the object's going to sit right on top of the shadow. However, the lighting scenario, because it is top lit, this time it's not going to be at an angle. It's going to be right, the light's going to come from the top. Right? So the top is going to be lit, and then the bottom half is going to be dark. Okay? Now, for an object like a square or a cube, the light's coming from the top. Now the sides here are going to be what's in shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and just darken this, because that's in shadow. And these sides are going to be equally lit, right? Because it's not being favored on either side. It's just the strongest light source is on the top. Same with the cone here. The cone's a little tricky, right? Light's coming through here. How's it bouncing? Well, if light is actually coming through here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and kind of give it a slight shadow, but it's actually going to just kind of fade. If you look at the forms here, it's very basic. If you look at these forms right here, it's just literally a box. A box here. Another box here, right? So it's just boxes on top of boxes. Now, if we have our light source, and I'm gonna go with the side lighting here, this being our kind of main light source, I'm going to treat these shapes or these objects as primitives. So that way I can easily render this out. So if this is the light side, then this is going to be the shadow side. Right? And I'm just going to kind of block it in like that. It's the underside, but this is kind of the way we're going to approach it. Okay, very simple concept, and I want you guys to just think about the basic of lighting through kind of simplifying your forms or understanding your forms on a very primitive or geometric sense. This is where I'm going to go in and start blocking in just my darks. My darks are going to be kind of the doors, any little crevices or anything that has a really dark opening. So the door, for example, is going to be one thing that's going to be really dark. So I want to make sure that I kind of block that in. Because again, the door doesn't get much light, or any light for that matter, so it's going to be almost just this dark shape. Okay, same thing with anything that has a darker opening or a dark object would be like windows. There's like little windows up here, like these openings on the temple that I have. So I'm going to block that in. These are relatively simple comps, and they're meant to be studies more than final illustrations or anything like that. And you know, the way these are going to be utilized for portfolio or for, you know, concept design or whatever it is that you guys are mainly doing this for, is it's actually a preliminary study or an idea for a more finalized or bigger rendition, right? So that's kind of what this is used for. I hope you guys found this insightful, and I'll see you guys on the next tutorial. Thanks again for watching.